Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Wrath of the Righteous with me, Bring It On. Before we go speak to our free Crusaders, we're going to march our army south. Give a hint, clear out some of these demonic lurkers. Lost 18. Having ejected the demons from Eagle Rock, former Crusader outposts lost during the Fourth Crusade, warriors were dismayed to discover that the fortifications had fallen into miserable ruins under demon rule. However, in the Warden's chambers, there was a cache containing valuables unnoticed by marauders. A bit of Inspired Wisdom plus 4. I think that's better. It is, what he currently has equipped. Which way I need to go? Not that way. So close. Well, take care of it on the next day. Alright, let's go see what our Crusaders want. Upon seeing you, Aranka cries out with joy. Ah, and there's the one who will tell us what to do. She gestures for silence. A couple of weeks ago, we've had ourselves a great party in the camp. Wine and songs had lifted our spirits so high that a laughter was heard by a most curious visitor. Her name is Wise Thunder. She's an Azada and a traveler from Elysium. She liked us so much that she stayed with us through the night. In the morning, she called herself our eternal friend. As she promised that her retinue would always answer the Crusaders' call. Ever since, volunteers have been arriving at our camp now and again. Folks who've met Wise Thunder and were impressed with their tales about us. And just the other day, an entire unit came, all of them worshippers of Cade and Kalian. We got along straight away, but it just didn't feel right. Here we were having fun, while your soldiers are toiling away in their service, all bored and sad. So we figured the Cade Knights should enlist in your army to boost their morale. They went to the recruiters and said, "We're here to serve, help, and cheer everyone up." Your gruff officers took one look at the volunteers, and unanimously refused to let them near the troops. They alleged that the Cade Knights would ruin any semblance of discipline in the army. I'm fine with discipline. Why be such jerks about it? You could find them jobs suited to their strengths. Ask them to help recruiters with attracting people. The Cade Knights are renowned for their eloquence. Or task them with intelligence gathering. The adventurous streaks would lead them into the Maz of Lamashtu herself, and they'd return with valuable information. Who is this Wise Thunder? What kind of retinue does she have? Oh, she's a wise one, alright, and very perceptive. She's genuinely disgusted by all forms of tyranny, and her entire retinue shares this sentiment. In her travels, Wise Thunder was always accompanied by her loyal Yama Azadas, enchantresses, and freedom fighters. Many of them were so moved by our courage that they wished to become our friends too. Now, why do the officers refuse to let Caden's followers join the army? Because they're too fun and freedom-loving. They aren't fond of your sergeants barking orders. This rowdy bunch is unlike your soldiers in every way, so officers treat them as outsiders. But I guess we can't blame those who have been sitting next to the World Wound for being suspicious. They've been fighting for years, and seen things worse than most people's nightmares. But that's not the issue. The Crusaders have one way of life, the Canaanites another. We should not impose a strict Mendevian regimen on the Free Crusaders, but we also shouldn't force the Crusaders to live in chaos they find uncomfortable. These people don't like the mess we enjoy. As polite guests, we must abide by the rules set out by our hosts. How can the talents of the priests be used? I think the best option is to ask them to recruit for the crusade. These adorable drunkards have silver tongues, more than enough to convince even the fiercest skeptic. And they do enjoy traveling. Adventure is in their blood, and their legs are swifter than the wind. To top it off, the accidental god has generously blessed them with luck. You can always count on that lot to stumble upon a lost purse or buried treasure. I think the accidental god moniker is my favorite out of all the ones that I know about in the setting. The early sunset clears his throat. The flames of this argument were fanned by pride, not by the citizens of Mendev, but by those who came to their aid. These brave Canaanites should show a modicum of respect, and at least pretend to respect local customs. What a shock it was to hear that waking up on time or marching in formation could crush a person's free spirit. This attitude speaks to an unhealthy fragility. I think we'll do this. Let's let the priests of Cade and Killian recruit new soldiers. Ronka gives a decisive nod. I'm sure that their eloquence will attract more people to our cause, but those who will become Crusaders and those who can aid them. Even now, they have plenty of friends willing to shed blood for freedom against the forces of tyranny, of demons or mortal kings. They care not. But this feels strange. We're in it together spilling blood and fighting the same demons, but it's still difficult to understand one another. I'm glad we have you. I'll come to you right away the next time we have a falling out.
I'll go ahead.
I thought it was a good idea to hang a hammock at the edge of the ridge. And how are we going to prevent our brave gnomes from using it as a swing? Remind me again what you do and what your goals are. Anything and everything. We help your free Crusaders with their raids in the World Wound. We research how your power affects the environment. We also oversee the court, the quality of life here, the defenses in case of a demon attack. Now what's the general mood of the court? Well, not everything is going smoothly. Hell Five Knives is a good guy, brigand or not. But his gang, some of them only came here out of respect for their leader, and their respect isn't going to last much longer. They don't like fighting demons in the open. They just aren't suited to it. They felt more confident back in Cheliax, robbing the rich, even if they did give everything away to the poor. Like we know this already, but tell me about yourselves. How did you all become followers of Desna? Three of us start talking all at once, which happens quite often. You won't be able to make anything out. Aranka smiles coyly. Ilks, what's your story? My family are some of the few humans allowed to live in Kionin, the land of the elves. I was born in Greengold, and often traveled with my parents to the Elven forests or sailed the Elven rivers. We occasionally got lost, but always found the way home. My parents quickly realized that there was a reason for that. I was guided by some peculiar power. I turned my prayers to Desna. It was a childish faith, I had childish prayers I offered, but they worked. Those marked by Desna rarely sit still for long. I soon left home to see the world, and wandered until I ended up in Canabras. The wounded Crusaders were being brought into the city at the time, and there was a terrible shortage of priests and healers. When I saw the faces of the wounded, I realized that no matter how amazing the world was, my heart would never be at peace if I didn't stay there and help. Can you tell me about yourself, Aranka? My family are of the lesser nobility. The mother, father, and grandmother never bragged about their titles. We have a nice little estate, the size of a medium farmstead. A house overgrown with ivy, a couple of big shaggy dogs, and even shaggier horses. Aranka's smile shines as brightly as the sun. I love my home and my family, but my talents as a bard and the call of adventure never let me stay home for long. My parents have never minded. Father used to joke that he'd rather let me roam the world than have to keep dragging me down off the blades of the old mill I love to climb. So, with my parents' blessing, I traveled and refined my art until I met Ilks and Canabras and realized that's where I belonged. Alright, it's your turn, Wallflower. My story is at least interesting. Out of us three, I'm the only one from Mendev. An orphan. My parents, like those of many others, died in the Crusade. I always wanted to be a wizard, but I didn't begin my studies until quite late. Finding opportunities to learn magic in an orphanage is hard. Actually, there aren't that many wizards among Desna's worshippers. She mostly attracts bards and travelers. but I just happened to enter her shrine one day, and I knew in an instant that I wanted to stay. Before I found the Shrine of Desna that day, I'd only ever seen samples of Amade and Abadar. Temples, not samples. I had this idea in my head. The temples were always grand and solemn. But Desna's shrine was more like a tent at a carnival, and the service a joyous performance. I must have seen creatures of all races in there, even a few fae. Everyone was in high spirits, dancing merrily to the singing of a bard. It was one of Ronka's famous concerts. That's when I met her in Oaks, and immediately joined the temple, and that's where I stayed. Why did you believe I was the one who could improve our odds in the war with the demons? You probably think we only followed you because of your power, but that's not true. Or rather, it's more than that. We believe that your power is just a consequence. The gods must have seen something in you. That's why they chose you as their champion. You helped us in Canabras, even though the city's prelate denounced us as criminals. You would have done what you did. The Crusaders have never had a commander like you before. By Desna's stars, I don't want to disparage those who have fought bravely and shed their blood for us. We've made no headway for the last 4 crusades, and for good reason. The commanders of our paladins seem to believe that all you need to do to win is form a column and march bravely headlong toward evil. The 5th crusade followed the same logic, which just failed again. With you, Don Quixote, everything should be different. It already is. Our endeavor here, I mean the court with the Free Crusaders, looks a little crazy, but for all we know, a little bravery and madness might be exactly what the Crusades have been missing. How are things going in my court? It's not exactly calm and tranquil. At least it's a lot of fun. We're settling in and making preparations to fight off demons if we have to. I don't think they like the idea of an incredible place like this existing in this rotten wound of theirs. Still, there are a lot of us. We may have many talents. We can handle it. I have to go. Until next time. See you and good luck. May the stars guide you.
I know the way.
I like it here better than in Cheliax. Demons aren't as cunning as devils. That's the devil's whole shtick, isn't it? Alright, so I think we need to talk to the Matris. The amount of intoxicating drinks you've imbibed is equal to the amount of water a 100-year-old oak would need in a week, my good lady. Scaranthal the Treant towers over the short Matris so much, she's almost lost in his shadow. If only your mind weren't so fogged, you realize by now that I am right. We said there was beneath your dignity, good Scaranthal. Just so you know, my god condemns excessive drinking. For followers of Caden, it's a deadly sin, much like murder in other religions. It's just that I know how to have fun. That's exactly why my thoughts are brilliant and clear as ever, unlike those of a certain 100-year-old oak. Hello there. May I join in your debate about alcohol? Me, I want in. I'm gonna, what's it called? State my case. I know that candy is so much better than stinky alcohol, and I'll prove it too. A Lushbringer, and you, worthy Dragongling. We weren't debating alcohol itself, rather the ideas it brings forth. Our good sister, Ola Devara, is trying to uproot life on the ridge with her experiments. That is false, my good Scaranthal. Patently false. You believe that only forests and groves may be called life, but my project will encompass a whole host of living creatures, including a rare species of crustacean. You see, Don Quixote, being immersed in the creative ambience of the court has inspired me to make something of my own. I'm currently working on a unique alchemic prismatic spring. The problem is, Scaranthal is trying to plant trees in this same spot, and they don't exactly get along with my spring. What kind of trees are the Treants planting here? We saved some seeds from the ancient groves of Sarkoris and brought them here. Our country used to have another name. A rough translation would be Green Bastion in the Northland. These seeds are a memory of our past and a new beginning. And what is a prismatic spring? It's a hot spring in which unique alchemical processes are constantly taking place. These processes imbue the water and salts that accumulate in the spring with all the colors of the rainbow. These springs occur in nature, but as far as I know, no one has ever attempted to recreate one before. I'm also planning to make some improvements to my spring, so that it offers health benefits in addition to looking wonderful. I feel like the Azada's whole thing is reinvigorating the land and healing the world, like the land around the world wound. Can't say that today. So I think I'm going to side with Scaranthal. Forests and groves are more to my liking. I'd prefer to sacrifice a spring for the sake of Scaranthal's trees. It's a wise decision. The court's power will make our trees truly wonderful. Again, that's kind of the thing we've been doing. Everywhere we go is reinvigorating the land and turning it into a forest. I don't know how much the spring would help heal the land around the world wound. But if we can reintroduce the forest that used to exist here, then all the better. We're gonna rest up and then set out towards the Molten Core, I think. Or Molten... whatever it's called. That place to the south. Rhoda, a commander. The woman entering the room is horribly wounded. Her simple clothes are soaked with blood. Her face has been beaten to a pulp, and one arm is twisted at an unnatural angle. She walks toward you, but her legs give out, and she falls to the floor. Commander, it's Ember. Ember's been taken. Somebody help. She's wounded. One of the soldiers helps your guest up and hands her a healing potion. The woman drinks it and sighs with relief. She still looks terrible, but at least her wounds are no longer bleeding. She is standing on her own 2 feet. Thank you, Commander, but don't waste time on me. I don't deserve your kindness. You must save Ember. Ember, what's wrong with her? Baphomet cultists came to her sermon. They slaughtered everyone and took her off to their unholy shrine to sacrifice her. I can tell you where it is. I'm begging you. Hurry before they do something to her. Who are you? My name is Turda. I'm a bricklayer. No, that's not what I meant to say. I'm a pathetic sinner not worthy of your attention. That little saint changed my life, saved my soul, and let those scumbags take her. Who did this to you? Baphomet cultists. They came to the sermon. They were armed. We couldn't do anything to stop them. I woke up surrounded by dead bodies. The cultists must have thought I was dead too. I ran straight here, but it's already been a few hours. The villains must be halfway to the shrine by now. Baphomet cultists. In Dresden. They're everywhere, Commander. The army, the bureaucracy, ordinary people. They have spies high and low. They recruit those weak in spirit. Some of them get caught, but they're like mold. You miss just one speck. It's not long before they spread everywhere again. Like orcs. How exactly do you know where the Shrine of Baphomet is? You're very perceptive, Commander. The woman lowers her head, stops for a moment, and then forces herself to continue, looking you straight in the eye. I didn't come here only to tell you about Ember's abduction, but also to surrender to the law. Arrest me for treason. I'm a cultist of Baphomet. It's my fault Ember was taken. Why are you helping me if you're a cultist? I regret what I did. That doesn't absolve me of my guilt, but at least I can do some good before I accept my punishment. Tell me more about your cult. I was recruited a few months back. I came to this city to work on a construction site. I was alone, with no friends and no money. I met some nice people in the tavern. Their beaten face twisted into a grimace. We spent some good times together, and they were always willing to help me in any way they could. They even let me borrow money and never asked for it back. I really thought I'd found friends. And they started saying things about unfairness in the army. The Galfrey was a tyrant, and you're her executioner. That fighting cultists is just slaughtering innocent people who see things in a different way. I felt like something was off, but they were my friends. Well, it didn't even take 2 months before I was kissing the hoof of Baphomet's statue in his shrine and swearing an oath to his warlord, Thasgarad. Break Baphomet's profane altar, destroy his cult, and punish me in front of everyone as an example to the rest. Thasgarad? Who is that? A very powerful demon. I've only seen him once, and I almost died of fear. He is huge, and he breathes fire and devours human souls. He has an entire army of Templars at his command. How did you end up at Ember's sermon? At first I stayed away from her sermons, but the cult leaders kept a close eye on her. People flocked to her. The cultists dreamed of poaching her congregation, maybe even luring her to their side too. When she started saying prayers for the demon lords, we thought it would be easy to entice them to our side. We underestimated her. 5 spies, including me, infiltrated her congregation. When the other cultists came for her, all 5 of us took up arms to protect her from them. Ember said prayers for demon lords. That can't be true. You didn't know. She's a true saint. I don't know what else to call her. He was offering up prayers for all the demon lords. Baphomet, Discari, Nocticula, Cabriri. Asking that they come to their senses and end this war. Stop hurting people. He believes there is good in everyone, even in creatures who are evil incarnate. I don't know if anyone can make demons come to their senses, but she can do it with people. How could I keep hurting Crusaders after I, along with the others, appealed to Baphomet's better nature? How could I ask him to repent, and not repent myself? I see. I've decided what to do with you. I'll humbly accept your decision, whatever it may be. This is a tough choice. I don't know if I should show no mercy, because using the mold analogy that she used earlier. Or should I start rewarding cultists for coming forward to give them a reason to? Because as we've seen before, cultists tend to join cults because they feel like they don't have another option. In her case, she didn't have friends and she wasn't accepted. So if we offer the cultists that acceptance, maybe they're more willing to, at least the ones that are uneasy about their culting. So yeah, I'll go with 1. You left the cult and atoned for your sins. You may go. Thank you, Commander. You've been kinder to me than I deserve. That is exactly what Ember teaches us to do. I will do anything to keep others from falling into the cult's web. And you, please save our little saint. He bows and leaves. Also, having someone that knows the ins and outs of the cult, maybe they can help uproot other cults within the city. If she doesn't get sucked back into it. Because maybe without Ember being here, and Ember's presence, she might fall back into old habits. I don't know. It's a risk we gotta take. Decision had to be made, and I made one. I think you're the type of person who could strip the flesh from my face in the night, then in the morning, lay me on a pack of wild dogs. I'd never in a million years come near your face. I'm sure the wild dogs would also lose their appetite.
That is not far.
There's one tanky unit. We can do this. We can wrap up this fight. A poor prisoner who was freed in the battle asked for a word. In his hand, an item wrapped in a rag. The prisoner says he was once a Crusader, and for decades he has hidden this item from the demons. He's overjoyed to present it to his savior. Deadly Toll. Its +4 scythe has a +4 bonus to critical hit confirmation rolls. Should I go south first? Or I guess southeast versus southwest? That is a very large army. Let's see how well we fare. It's a fort, so the general should be casting spells at us, yeah. Just like that. Not a ton. I think we can survive 2 more hits. I'm going to try and throw out a fireball. Probably should have thrown it over here. Those are some very large numbers. Alright, that presents a bit of a problem, doesn't it? Okay, I'm gonna reload this. Because we're not gonna win that. So I made a couple mistakes there. We don't want to throw a fireball over here. We want to throw it over here. I'm afraid of this cultist unit. Lost 45 units attacking the Babao. Okay. I should have used Smite there. We're taking a beating. Alright, so I need to start healing up on my units. And we should be fine. Reduce their damage by a significant margin. Alright, so they were basically a non-issue at this point. Let's see. So I don't know if I'm reading this right or not. It says we have 1870 out of 1875, right? So our infirmary is not filled up. I think I might be misreading that. There we go. All right. No, it wasn't. It was 1870 out of 1875, so I probably could have finished up the fight there and got all my units back. That was a tough little fight. The first time I've had to reload in a Crusade fight in a while. I guess I didn't have to, but I definitely lost that fight. I misplayed it the first attempt. And even if I did win, would have lost so many units, we wouldn't have been able to recover for a long while. A host of demons once guarded the horrific remains of the Tower of Yad, sculpted from demon flesh. The Crusaders stormed the ruins and ended the lives of all who dwelt within. The remains of the tower resemble the decomposing carcass of a giant beast, and the warriors of the Crusade are already setting up a war camp a few miles from the ruins. Keep an eye on this heap of rotting meat. Alright, so we got another fort. Where does going this way take me? A dead end? They're clumped up perfectly for a fireball. Even had a general. And they didn't get a turn. Okay. The commander's unit was awestruck at their discovery. A small army of Crusaders had taken a rest stop in the middle of the World Wound and decided to arrange a tournament. The noble knights played playful frolicking, however, ended in a bloody massacre, which they were blithely oblivious, as the warriors' eyes were entranced by the queen of the tournament, a magnificent nude succubus, who observed the Crusaders with a gracious smile as they blew off each other's heads. The scarlet gemstone set in a delicate web of finest steel gleamed on her bosom. The fight was brief but very brutal. With deep sorrow, the commander's warriors eyed the corpses of their brothers in arms. They had fallen into a demon trap. Uttering the words of Iomade, an officer ripped the magnificent decoration from the succubus's bosom. Even after death, her cold, beautiful lips still wore her smile of contentment. The fouled barrows. Attractive impulse. At the time when the Aslanti Empire was still savoring its golden age of might and glory, the name of Hecatrix was familiar to everyone in the city of Golden Gates. Hecatrix was the queen of courtesans and the most beautiful of women. Her heart-winning power was so great that even kings and queens could not harm her. The cruelest assassins would prostrate themselves at her feet like loyal hounds. Impressed by her beauty and sensuality, the goddesses Shaylin and Callistria decided she should be their priestess and quarreled ferociously over her. Shrewd Hecatrix never was a chooser. She always wanted it all, so she praised each goddess in secret when her rival was not present. She's collecting all the blessings of Shaylin and Callistria in a beautiful gem until one night, the truth about her deception was revealed. Both goddesses were enraged by her betrayal. While the kind Shaylin forgave the traitress, a weird word to say, Callistria decided to destroy her. In the course of an unbridled, wine-fueled nocturnal orgy of debauchery, the queen of the courtesans was torn to pieces by a crowd driven mad with lust. No one paid any heed to Hecatrix for 200 years, until one day the sin-soaked soul of a succubus, with a magnificent scarlet gemstone in her bosom, awakened in the abyss. The gemstone was called the Attractive Impulse. The gem combined the passion and lust of the queen of courtesans with the blessings of two goddesses, which together forged a dangerous and alluring relic. Also extremely dangerous for a succubus to have on hand. Alright, so we can get Ice Storm. Target cannot move or act for 2 rounds. I can see that being really good, especially against like the high count enemy units like that group of cultists we fought earlier, where it was a max stack of 500. Now -2 penalty to speed. So this is the same damage as Fireball, but it also affects their speed. And I don't know of any enemies besides Water Elementals that would be immune to Ice Storm, and we don't run across Ice Elementals as often as we do Bremorax. So this might be the better spell to get. So this is a better heal. It's so expensive though. We haven't really run across a point where we can't. I'm gonna grab it anyway, just to be safe. As soon as I don't grab it, we're going to need it. I'm not going to risk it. Where is Ember's quest at? All the way down there, okay. Well, I guess we'll slowly start working our way there in the next episode. And deal with all these demon armies over here. There's so many. I think we'll be okay though. We'll see. Either way, I'm gonna call the episode here. In the next one, we will start marching, I guess, towards Ember's quest. So it looks like we have to go this way. We can't cross this ravine here. We could get a Molten Scar, but we can't cross a Molten Scar to over here. So I guess we'll go this way, come down south, hit up the core of the riddle, and then Baphomet's Shrine, and rescue Ember. And that's our course of action. Then we'll probably go back to Dresden and then work our way south to the Molten Scar, and just start clearing out south, like directly to the west of Canabris. Just work our way east to west on this side of the map. But for now, I'm going to call it here. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys in the next one.